It has been 100 days since Donald John Trump
Mr. President.
became America's 45th president.
America first.
Donald Trump is a businessman and was a reality television star in the shows The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice.
I am officially running.
He became a politician in 2015 when he announced his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. Unconventional President Trump. Trump supporters are pleased with his unconventional political style. Here, he is welcoming members of the American Trucking Associations to the White House. Trump likes using the app Twitter to communicate with Americans and the world. He has tweeted out hundreds of messages since becoming president. He says it gives him a direct link to people and goes around the dishonest media. His mistrust of the press is not a secret.
Because the press, honestly, is out of control. The level of dishonesty is out of control.
Trump's critics say he has a great need to be liked by others.
We had tremendous success on The Apprentice, and when I ran for president, I had to leave the show. And they hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. It's been a total disaster.
Working with U.S. lawmakers, Trump was the Republican Party's candidate. Passing laws should be easy for the president because Republicans control both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Democrats are the minority party in both chambers. In January, the president nominated Judge Neil Gorsuch for a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. His nomination was confirmed after a battle with Democrats in the Senate. In March, Trump worked with lawmakers to pass a new health care bill, but at the last minute, the vote did not happen. There was not enough support among the most conservative Republicans in Congress. Trump says his focus now is working with Congress to pass tax reform that would lower taxes on American businesses and citizens. Executive orders. Executive orders are laws signed by the president and directed at federal agencies. President Trump has signed about 30 executive orders during his first 3 months in office.
A lot of jobs, 28,000 jobs.
Early executive orders restarted work on the Keystone XL and Dakota Access pipelines.
You're going back to work.
An order signed in March limits federal efforts aimed at fighting climate change. Those efforts were begun during the presidency of Barack Obama. Immigration. Enforcing immigration laws is important to President Trump.
A nation without borders is not a nation.
In his first few days in office, he signed an executive order to strengthen security along the U.S. border with Mexico. The order calls for removal of all illegal immigrants, especially criminals. Trump is also working with Congress to find a way to pay for a wall along the southern border. 1 week into his presidency, Trump signed an executive order on immigration banning travel to the U.S. by citizens of 7 Muslim-majority countries. It also prevented refugees from entering the U.S. for 120 days. After days of protests at U.S. airports and other places, a judge stopped enforcement of the order. Trump then signed a second version of the travel ban. That one was also stopped by a judge. Trade.
First one is withdrawal of the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
President Trump stopped the TPP trade deal that was negotiated under former President Obama. It was to deepen economic ties among 12 countries that border the Pacific Ocean. Defense. Recently, President Trump told the Associated Press that defense was his biggest thing. In the past month, the military dropped the powerful, massive ordnance air blast known as the mother of all bombs on the Islamic State terrorists in Afghanistan. To answer the use of chemical weapons by Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's forces, the military fired 59 missiles at a Syrian airfield. Trump also sent American warships to South Korea as a show of force against the North Korean nuclear threat. Relations with Russia.
I think it would be great if we got along with Russia.
Candidate Trump wanted good relations with Russia. President Trump has learned that may be difficult. The FBI and Congress are investigating whether his campaign secretly worked with Russian officials to win last year's election. Trump's first national security advisor, Michael Flynn, resigned following reports that he misled Vice President Mike Pence about his contacts with the Russian ambassador to the U.S. Recently, Russian President Vladimir Putin told Russian state TV that ties between the countries had worsened. Meetings with foreign leaders. Unlike earlier U.S. presidents, Trump has not yet traveled outside the country to meet with foreign leaders. He seems to like meeting with them at the White House or his private club, Mar-a-Lago, in Florida. Donald Trump's first 100 days as president have been busy. There are 1,360 more days to go.